up, folks? If you are not from a fucking specific era, I'm just going to let you know right now, you might not know what that music is, but I am here. Have no fear, for I am here. I am your host, Elijah 5000 here, S2 Gaming, to give you everything and anything that you ever wanted and needed, because this is your place for not only One Piece manga content, which would be the live reads, brief spoilers, full spoilers, and TCB spoilers, but I also do One Piece. Right now it's One Piece reactions. It's going to expand to other anime reactions, but we also cover other anime shows like Yuri Shinden, Samurai Troopers, Frieren, Sins to be a Hero, and Trigun Stargaze, along with Kikyo Hitman Reborn. And if you know me, that title is one title I have been talking about since day one of the Elijah Bailey Show podcast, which started in 2011. All the way up till now. I watched it then, along with, I watched it before then, but I rewatched it again, along with Kuroko's Basketball that Buck put me on. I put Buck on Food Wars, and it is a phenomenal, dude, just a phenomenal show. It stands up there with Naruto. Any show with a team, not even really, the fucking Super Sentai-esque. It's more shonen, battle shonen, power up, shit like that we're used to. Zatch Bell, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Ronin Warriors, that type shit. But I digress. We're going to read the official chapter 1179, which dropped yesterday, which would be April the 5th. This is April 6th. And Imu is fucking here like All Might, and fuck, it's all for one and one for all in the same fucking body, in the same fucking place. I am ready to read this chapter. Before we start, though, I made mention of the sponsors, and then I was like, you know what? Even though we are having some trouble with the PC, and I had not streamed in a couple weeks, now that I'm back streaming, have to give love, have to pull up these sponsors of the show, because they have been sponsoring the Elijah Bailey Show podcast, a little bit of anime podcast. I had so many podcasts, anime podcasts, comic book podcasts. You can go find them on Spotify still. Let's see, the Warrior Way podcast, Superpower Movie podcast, a little bit of anime podcast, the Elijah Bailey Show, Black Box, and they have been there. I mean, especially towards the later end of those shows up until now. So what we're going to do, we're going to open this box up. Fucking bring. Oh, shit. Which one? There we go. Bring our sponsors over. And since Emmy Eats was up, we'll start with Emmy Eats Ramen for you guys. Hang on. What's up, YouTube? What's up, Kick? What's up, Twitch and Facebook? So Emmy Eats Ramen, emmyeatsramen.com. Go use promo code EDGE2G to get $5 off your purchase online. High protein, high fiber, low carbs, low sodium, plant-based, 6 different flavors. Usher endorses it if that's what you need. It's ramen. It's cheap. It's good. It's healthy. It doesn't kill you. Black garlic chicken, tom yum shrimp. We have the spicy beef. We have spicy red miso, creamy chicken. That was the one I was forgetting. And then the roasted pork tonkatsu. They also have Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, all that shit you can go to and watch them put together videos and bowls and show you how to make your bowl of ramen even more special for you. So again, promo code EDGE2G to get $5 off your purchase. And switchery.com, the world's 1,000% only online store for the best anime video game coverage for your Nintendo Switch, no matter which version it is. You go up here to the side, click every single one, Switch 1, 2, Lite, OLED. As you go into them, you have thumb grips, dock cases, controllers, game cards, and other accessories. Edge 10 gets you 10% off your online purchase at checkout. Thank you guys so much for showing our sponsors some love. And let's go ahead and just kind of talk about this before we get into it. We last saw King Imu saying, I'm about to leave, boys. And what I'm talking about last time is the TCB scans. They're like, and all the Goro say, like, no, you can't leave, Imu. You can't go outside. But we know Imu losing the contract with Harold made Imu's body suffer violently. Imu traveling made Imu spit up blood, not even like ink or devil juice, whatever the fuck you want to call it. So where we are starting now, at the beginning of that chapter, we're going to get a rundown of how Imu's feeling, the conversation between the Gorosei and Figurlin coming in and be like, yo, motherfuckers, like, why are you not listening to Imu-sama? Imu-sama controls all this shit. Y'all don't run shit. Imu-sama's going to go where the fuck Imu-sama wants to go, so why are we having this conversation? This makes zero sense. The 5 motherfucking Elder Stars. Motherfuckers holding on to that title. Now, I'm not going to say Egghead. They did get out there and they did whoop some ass, so I can't really say shit to them. But right now, it's not looking too good. So where we are, what I'm looking for. Okay, see, I was getting Mars and Workery, I was saying Mercury. So Saturn's dead. That's correct. Saturn's top hat nigga. We got Marcus Mars is the long motherfucker. So once we go through these, I'll make sure to hit them correctly because I didn't know him, but Nosujuro, Workery, Jupiter, Garling, we went over all the motherfuckers. Let me know what you think is going to happen for chapter 1180. Remember, we're on break this week, so after this read, we won't have anything until 1180 comes out most likely next Monday or Tuesday with the brief spoilers. Did I not have this pulled up? Stupid, I already had this pulled up. Okay, let's get to this bitch. I'm excited about this. You did not get to see it last time. The way that this works, if you're new, the brief spoilers and the full spoilers I just read because they're written out. The TCB scans, I give you a description as I read through. I lay the groundwork, and then for the full read, you guys get to read it for me, so it should be up on your screen, which I do see it for you guys. So let's go ahead and dive into it. 1179, Nerona Imu descends. Fucking reader request, another one. I do like stories. We did Yamato's journey. We're back here with another reader request. Ace and Otama and Yamato leading boar piglets on a hike down a wetlands path by Naoma Wants to Travel. All right, first page out, we see Imu, great Imu. Did I hear that right? Someone says. And then Sacred Mary Joa, the Hall of Power. 4 out of the 5 Gorosei. And then you don't mean to go to Elbaph, do you? It doesn't look like Mars is saying it. It looks like Workery is saying it. Even his mustache is twitching a little bit. And then Jupiter says, please, don't do this. You mustn't descend to the lower world. And coming in like a pimp, just like his son Shanks and Shamrock Garling, Figurlin comes in. Do not be so smug and secure. Do you think that the Holy Land can remain safe forever? And Mars was like, Garling, you was supposed to be in here when we have these conversations. You can't come walking from the side. It makes us look bad, Playboy. Come in here and sit down. Then we see Garland again. With Shamrock's return, it seems that the situation is quelled, but the lower world's plan to starve us out still continues. Dignity and power will not fill our stomachs. What can we do on our own? He continues to charge towards the Gorosei. There we go. Zoom in just a little bit more. It says, what we need right now is the military might to keep the rest of the world under our thumb. And then there's the former Navy headquarters. Click. And the Dindin Mushi makes a noise. Are we picking up? Yes. It is Garland's Dindin Mushi going off. Garland, where's all the food? This isn't very celestial dragony. Celestial dragony. What motherfucker said that? It's got to be a celestial. Because if you do not recall, we learned chapters ago the celestial dragons, especially the ones like Charlos, are, what would you call that? Figureheads. They're not smart. They're not better than anybody else. They are part of these families, so they get special protection, but they are basically inbred baby idiots. And we see on the other end the person that was yelling at Garling saying this isn't very celestial dragony. We see them in the power plant, the labo phase of Marijoa. Garland says, I warned you about this, York. The Holy Land is under a food shortage, and one of the things that can break the siege is the mother flame. If you want to live like a celestial dragon, Then hurry up and produce energy for. She goes, wah, but I'm hungry, kicking the feet on the floor. And again, York has been led by her stomach. I don't know why she thought she could be independent of her obsession to actually hold some power, but she is a slave to food. And that's not a good thing because they don't have food in Marijoa and the Gorosei don't give a fuck. And she goes, that wasn't part of the deal, as she cries. And as we see, as I told you, the text box in the middle converts from the radio transponder, which York is hearing, to a text bubble coming straight from Garling's mouth. He says, needless to say, your original form, Vegapunk, is one of the rebellious forces arrayed against us. Consider this a way for you to take responsibility for yourself. And she goes, click, hangs up the Dendin Mushi, and continues to bitch and whine. We are in the Hall of Power, and Garling sits down. He says, it's been one disaster after another, and it all started after the arrival of Nika. Workery thump, looks, and then Garland continues, is it coincidence or fate? Jupiter says, be that as it may, great Imu. And then we go back to the flower room. Jupiter continues to talk to Imu. You should not leave Pangaea Castle. We can send the army admirals from headquarters to Elbaph. And then Nosujuro says, no, just count the number of situations we're dealing with right now. There's too much going on. Workery stands up, still only 3-4. But he goes, then we should head into the field again. I said, I didn't get my ass whooped enough. Because Workery was actually putting in work for a minute. And then Imu says, this is no longer coincidence, Workery. Arrogance, sloth, detachment, pride casteth away these things at once. So he said, I told you I'm going out. I don't need y'all to step up for me. If I wanted you to, I would have told your dumbass to go sit down, go take a nap, and daddy will be back. Imu continues, all is preordained. And then in Imu's head, we see all the past figures that have been causing Imu hemorrhoids, fucking high blood pressure, fucking gout, all that shit. David Izabek, I will be back, is the last line that fucking Imu remembers. Then Imu remembers what Roger said. You'll have to search the whole world on his deathbed at the gallows. Then we see Shirahoshi being born and Neptune. It seems Neptune had a daughter. We see a young Shanks with the scar on his face. They stole the devil fruit. Then we see Harold after he submitted to the world government and got his contract. He's like, what is in Elbaph? Because with that curse, the abyssal mark, he knew that they wanted shit from Elbaph besides just the giants. Then we see a memory of Loki. We found out who the pirate captain in the mist is. He is Loki, Harold's son. Then Whitebeard on his deathbed, half of his fucking face gone. And I think even back in the day it was even worse than this, but maybe that was like the 4Kids version, but they blew his motherfucking face and body up, and it says Whitebeard protected him. Who is it? And then we see Luffy knocked out, and they're like, it's Monkey D. Luffy. Go to a young Blackbeard. Who is that? Marshall D. Teach, aka Davy D. Teach. We see Nefertari D. Cobra sitting there, and Imu remembers Nefertari D. Lily. Then Imu's cutting up the bounties of Blackbeard and Luffy and saying, Joy Boy, Davy Jones. We see Imu continue to think. Shirahoshi's picture is now in the mix, torn up. Still, you continue to torment Mu, he says, holding a picture of Vivi. I desire, and then he looks up at a picture painting on the wall similar to Vivi, but as you can see the hair is different. That is Nefertari D. Lily, and he says, I desire Vivi. To Imu, it seems like Vivi is the reincarnation of Lily. We continue. Imu says, it all began long before this, and the Gorosei all say, great Imu. Imu cuts him off. The Holy Land I leave to thee. But great Imu, in the lower world you are, the Gorosei say, and then Garland says, we do not have the right to stop the great one, the brand, the boy that's fresh off the fucking factory line of fucking Holy Knights moved up to Gorosei members, which really we only know Garling has been one, but I suspect these other motherfuckers have. He cuts them bitches off, and fucking Mara says, but still, Workery, if great Imu leaves this castle, Nosujuro says, no need to say it, we all know. And then Jupiter says, it is by the great one's design. None of us can prevent it. Zzz, cut off the transmission. Imu instant transmission out that bitch. We pan out fucking Marijoa, the red line, and then next thing you know, Elbaph in the new fucking world. Yes, we can't see it from out here, but the sun world is on flames, and we hear Haruden, Stanson, West Village of the Sun World. Then Gerd and Goldberg run up to him and says, look at this. One of the demons was trying to put himself back together again. So, and then we hear Saint Sommer's, yeah, damn it, not again. And Haruden says, and he's still alive? Oh, no. Gerd says, and he's still alive. And then she says, look, it's like a magnet. It's scary. And she puts Sommer's back together and rips him apart. One, showing how fucking huge giants are. Two, we're playthings to them, easy to kill us. And then three, the fucking holy knights, the knights of God, have their whole reanimation, regen ability. And Sommer says, not half as scary as you. You said your name was Gerd? I'll remember that. You'd better watch yourself, because I'll personally see to it that you experience a miserable death, you wrench. That's a lot more shit that he said in the TCB scans, but this is on brand for Sommers, with his little cross cut into his goatee and his flower on his lapel. Then Goldberg comes out. He said, you should look at this too. You should look at this too, because he's got that list. And it's boom, boom. In his hand is Saint Sommer's mechanical heart. Zoro leans in, and looks with Haruden, and they see a steel heart with a pressure gauge on the side like a steampunk heart. And then Zoro says, does that mean if we destroy this, they won't be able to go back to normal? And then Sommer's, yeep, as he looks to the side in fucking agony and pain. Not even agony and pain, but just his impending doom is around the corner. He doesn't care about his body. He hates that Gerd's doing that to him, but he's like, fuck, I won't be able to come back from this. By the Walrus School, we have Usopp, Brook, hang in there, Chopper. Frankie says, they've got broken bones. Maybe I should cyborgize them. And they look fucking worried on the ground like, what the fuck? No, just heal us, bitch. I got blown up. That's it. And Jinbei says, where's Chopper? Then we see Killingham, Saint Killingham, hanging in a tree. His head, his lower body, upper body, 3 sections in front of Sanji. He says, I'm going to personally remember your name, Sanji, for revenge. Now say mine. And Sanji says, I forgot, as he smokes a cigarette. And then we see Gunko is frozen solid into it in a big-ass cube of ice from Loki. We pan over to where Loki and Straw Hat, Luffy, and Ratataskar are, which is near Vegapunk. And Loki says, why is the school frozen? Vegapunk says, it's not. I merely sapped all its heat energy. So I did not speculate this. I guess the Omni device takes the energy and is sapped, and so it leaves it looking chilled. I knew there was a conversion there, but I thought it did to preserve where the energy came from to let it come back naturally or either put it back in. But this may be just what it does, which is okay because it put out some of the flames. And then Loki says, school's food's frozen solid. Don't even taste good. And Luffy goes, food? Gotta give it to Usopp and Brook. Because remember, every time somebody's hurt, food makes them better. The Ratataskar is sitting there nibbling. And then Loki goes, not until you get back to normal. And he goes, hey, Loki, that bad guy you froze, is she dead? And then Loki looks, it's a flash freeze. It won't be fatal, but only this guy, shit, can melt the ice. And he says, don't worry, they're not going anywhere. And then Ratataskar, Kira, just sitting there eating. And I can't remember what that translates to, but it's like squirrel noises or squirrel word. Then we see Nami standing on the branch looking at Zeus trying to put out the flames in the far distance. She goes, what? Because there's a weird zzz on the land off in the far distance. Then we see that fucking Haki, the smoke come out of the ground blasting. Nami yells, ah! We look, giants in West Village looking up. What's that? That ain't just black smoke. Whoa, eek, what the fuck? Looking, pointing, Stanson, it's fucking unbelievable. What the fuck is this? Look in the sky and we see pillars. 5 pillars creating an abyssal symbol, a magic circle, they say, directly over Aurust Castle, but covering massive amounts of land surrounding it. Nami, motherfucker, everybody, come quick. She ain't even turned around. She's just waving the hand. We see Frankie, Sanji running. Frankie goes, what's all the rumbling about? Sanji, don't worry, Nami, I'm with you. And then we see the music, boom, 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 Dora-ran. And the giants are just standing there not moving, but Dora-ran, Dora-ran. All the houses start to come alive. They have on the top half of their face is all black with shadow, fangs, making a mouth, tongues, moving around. It says, why am I dreaming? Yahoo! Wahoo! Ah! All the giants start yelling because music continues to play just as it does when Luffy fucking goes gear 5, when he awakens. Dororo. Borororon, Yeeho, Don. We hear music. Trees are swaying back and forth. Houses are. It says, even the forest. Is this someone else's power? We see how vast the circle is. Dan da dan, do. Music. And that shit, I can't wait to hear how they fucking transpose all this shit, because that sounds like it's just menacing, like Thriller, but like doom da doom doom da doom do 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 da boom boom da doom da 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 boom. God, it's like it's gonna be rhythmic and the opposite of Luffy, because when we saw Luffy in Egghead and on the boat, and even here, niggas started dancing, and when that motherfucker turned the volume up on his heart, and now everything started moving even before Imu gets here. Bam! Lightning, Haki is right down the middle of the castle. We see the castle looks like goddamn Castle Grayskull from He-Man, but the belly's being blown out of it. Haki going everywhere, flames being blown back. Then we fucking see people putting their hands up. All the kids are getting knocked out. Hiruden, Gerd, Goldberg are all moving, charging forward. Chopper is somehow stuck on Zoro's head. He's like, the color of Supreme King. And Loki says, was that from the castle? That's the same Haki from before. Luffy's just staring with that old wrinkly ass, tired ass face inside Aurust Castle, the throne room. Huffing and puffing and coughing. The black silhouette we know as Imu is there. Hand on the ground, shaking, quivering, twerking. Splat. Blood on the floor. Imu. And as Imu powers the fuck up, we see wings come out. We see the tiara get a little bit longer. More Haki comes. Boom, Aurust Castle blows up. And we see Dory, Brogy, and fucking Chief Gerard lean in. Who's that? Next panel, our last panel, we see the 5 pillars dissipate. A huge hole in the middle of the sky. Clouds. I mean, it's a dark cloudy, but there's a hole where sun's coming down, but it's gone. The houses, trees, still alive. Moving around, killing him. Great one. Sommer's, you mean in person? And then it says someone's up there on top of the castle. And then we see the man himself, Imu Nerona, with the text box grabbing his head saying, creator of the world government. One of the first 20, power, the devil's fruit. The king of the world, Saint Nerona Imu. Look at them eyes. Look at the ink on the face, the hand, the skin. And I want to back out, because somebody made a point about the castle, but I don't see it here, because if we zoom into the castle and you look at the top, they're like, look compared to the windows. Now these, again, the reason why we are checking this out, let me zoom in. Oh, I can't go in any further. Imu takes up about the same amount of space up top as one of the windows, maybe a little bit more. This is a giant fucking castle. This is a giant's castle, remember that. So Imu's fucking huge, which is crazy because we never get that height comparison to the Gorosei. So I'm just saying, if this is to scale, which it doesn't have to be, Imu's fucking big as shit. So Luffy has to be in goddamn giant form to take on Imu, which I'm not mad at. You got Imu, Loki. I'm like, how the fuck is Imu going to take on Loki, who's the largest dragon in history right now? How's he going to take on Luffy, who can do whatever the fuck I mean, power-wise, yes, but Luffy can do whatever the fuck he wants. Luffy said, I want to turn Mary Jo into Dookie Ball, blah, 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 trapped in Dookie. You know, nobody's as dirty. Nobody's getting hit with Glock Dookies in One Piece. If they were, though, I think a motherfucker like Luffy could think of some shit that would piss Imu. Imu's very formal. Emus of old age. Emu don't want shit on them, but Luffy throwing shit. Luffy go around the world throwing shit. Luffy is the incarnation of this generation's liberator. Because as we know from native speakers, Joy Boy, not Joy Boy, but Joy Boy is a title of a liberator. So when people refer to Luffy as Joy Boy, he's just liberating them. Their oppression has been liberated. It's gone. As far as Nika, that's a different story. What do we talk about? Devil contracts most likely cannot. This is my prediction. 1180. The heart. This goes back to Sommer's heart. I was thinking about it last deal. The devil cannot control or have a contract on someone that has a devil fruit ability. And you're like, wait a second, St. Sommer's, Killingham, Gunka, doesn't make sense. They have mechanical hearts. Devil fruits that can awaken, that are mythical, like Killingham's. Sommer's doesn't seem like it can be awakened, but if Imu knows that every devil fruit can be awakened, taking away their heart and taking away the ability of the devil fruit to have a will of its own keeps them into control with Imu. And then Imu has a contract to watch them and give them power to kind of debuff not having a part, also to push more of their human side out. Like their thoughts and shit are somewhat the same. If they're not being forced, it might just change their perspective like it did with Dorian Brogy. But that is my theory. That is the top theory I'm going with. That's the only one I'm going with up until 1180, until we see what actually happens with the heart and and the other deal is like, is Imu giant size? I think so. I fucking think so. The big ass hat in Mary Joa, even if Imu looks small, maybe can adjust height, because this is humanoid form Imu, not black little figure Imu. So I'm Elijah 5000. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you know that music, let me know. There could be a prize enough for it. But this has been the official live read for 1179. Imu is now here. Saint Nerona Imu of the first 20, the king of the world, the piece of shit motherfucker that's trying to keep power 800 years, and you ain't done shit better, bitch. You just trying to run from, we saw it right here, Joy Boy and Davy D. Jones. These motherfuckers were on his mind all this time. Joy Boy, whoever holds that title, I think is always an inheritor of the will of D. And Davy D. Jones, yeah, they fucked him up. So we've seen Haki clashes, we've seen name mentions, all that shit. Imu cannot catch a fucking break with these two. And I don't want to let they motherfucking pedal off the floor. I don't want to let they foot off his motherfucking neck, because Emu's a dirty bitch. And if he had to come out here, it's about to get real hectic. I do not want to lose a Straw Hat right now. I do not want someone gravely injured. I want to know what's going on with Chopper's ability. We will find out. Thank you guys so much. I'm Elijah 5000, and you guys have a great fucking night. I will catch you in the next one. Turn on notifications, share with your friends, leave your comments, your predictions, and theories in the comments above. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Kick. I'm everywhere. Peace out. Have a great night.